Hold on. And we are live. So welcome everybody to another episode of the Sports Room. I am your host, UngarToTheMax, aka The Max. Credit to Just Blaze 142 and Steel Twins for giving me that nickname when I was on their channels to preview the Browns at Steelers Showdown in Week 6. But that's not what we're here to talk about. No. We have a very special week here on the Sports Room because it is Raiders week. And we have not one, but two video collaborations scheduled for this week. The first time ever on the Sports Room. And the first one is going down right here, right now. And we already have some people in the chat. I'll get to you in a second. But without further ado, let me introduce you to my special guest, Samoan Raider. Welcome to the show, my man.
Man, thank you for having me. I appreciate it a lot, especially for you reaching out to me out of all the Raider YouTubers out there, man, that you chose me. But that's crazy that you have two people this week. I know there's a lot of Raider content creators out there, especially in this past year. So, I mean, I can't wait for this game this week. But thank you again for having me on.
Yeah. I'm also going to be talking with Spotlight Raiders Talk. Okay. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I think I've seen a couple of stuff. Yeah.
And I know I showed you this before we went live, but for all my subscribers out there, I don't hate the Raiders. Actually, I do have a Raiders hat. I've got a Raiders mini helmet. Hopefully, you can somewhat see that. And I've got a Raiders pennant. So I don't dislike the Raiders. Obviously, I'm going to be rooting against them on Sunday for obvious reasons. But let me start with this. How did you feel about the Raiders moving to Las Vegas? Because I'm sure you've been a Raiders fan for a while, right?
Yeah, I've been a Raiders fan ever since 2003, actually, after they lost the Super Bowl. I didn't know that they went to the Super Bowl. I became a fan like later on that year. But I've been a fan since 2003. When they moved to Vegas, or when they announced Vegas, I know a lot of Raider fans are mad. I was actually excited because I'm actually only 2 hours away from Vegas because I'm in SoCal. So it was much closer to where I live. And honestly, it doesn't matter where the Raiders go. Even if we went to San Antonio, I would have still been a Raider fan. I know a lot of people are mad, a lot of Oakland fans, because they grew up with them all their lives and they've went to a couple games. It's sad because I've never been to the O.co, but I've been to like a lot of San Diego games because I'm closer down here to like LA area. So the fact that they moved to Vegas, I was really excited, and I actually been able to go out there a couple of times already this year because it's just a drive away. So for me, I was actually excited for them going to Vegas.
Okay. For me, I'm not a Raiders fan, but I don't hate the Raiders. Sometimes if they're playing a certain opponent that I don't like, sure, I'll root for the Raiders. I'm not anti-Raiders by any means. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna have to be anti-Raiders on Sunday. Which, by the way, I will be at First Energy Stadium for this game.
Oh wow! Really? Oh, they're opening it up. I mean, they have fans there. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've advocated that. I know coronavirus cases are different all over the country. I totally understand that. But I just don't think it's fair that, for example, the Raiders, you guys have a brand new stadium. This is your first year in Las Vegas, but you're not allowed to have fans. While like here in Cleveland, we can have 12,000 fans, or like, Seattle, known for the 12th man, they're not allowed to have fans, but like Dallas, I don't know why anybody would go to a Cowboys game right now, but they can have like 20,000 fans. So, I would just like to see the league create some sort of policy like that keeps it even for everybody. Like, okay, everybody can have fans or nobody can have fans.
True.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I said true, but the city actually allowed the Raiders to bring fans in. Like I think it was up to 10-15% maximum capacity or whatever. But Mark Davis he was like, if we can't have all of our fans there, we won't have no fans there. So I think he's just waiting for next year. I mean, it would be dope. Like you're right, though. I wish they would open it up at least for the Raider Nation to go and check it out. But
Yeah.
I think he doesn't want the first season to be a couple of fans, which kind of sucks. So there's other games that we could check out, but it's cool that the Browns are open. I know that the Falcons are open as well. I was trying to check out that game to see if I'll head out to Atlanta, but
yeah,
it is a bummer though.
Yeah. But I've watched some of your game, bits and pieces of your games. Like I watched your Monday night game against the Saints.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of your game against Buffalo. I checked out some of your game last week against I almost said against Kansas City. I'm sorry, against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I watched highlights of what you guys did against the Chiefs, which that was amazing.
Yeah, probably my favorite game this year so far.
I can imagine. So hopefully another one doesn't happen this Sunday. So what's your overall take on the Raiders so far this season? Are you happy with the way they're playing? Are you disappointed in their play so far? Where are you on that?
Like when I step back and look at the whole season so far, I'm happy to see where we're at this season. The beginning of our schedule was really tough, having the Saints early on and even having Buffalo and New England back to back, and then the Chiefs. Honestly, I didn't even think we would win any of those games. We obviously came out with the Chiefs victory, which was huge, and I see a lot of potential in this team. Obviously, I'm mad when we lose, mostly because I know our defense is a liability out there. But looking at our offense, seeing how we play, like every single game this year, we were in the game. Like we could have won the games, but we made mistakes on our own part. And then you see last week's game against the Buccaneers, the score was 45-20. If you looked at the score, it was a blowout. But there was a moment in the fourth quarter where we could have taken the lead, but we didn't. And then they just started scoring on us, and then our defense just gave up at the end of the game. But
yeah,
I'm actually overall I'm happy with it. Like we haven't really got blown out to the point where we just look bad the whole game. But so far I have a lot of hope in this team, hopefully moving forward. But so far I'm okay. 3-3 right now. And we're gonna be going to Cleveland for this game. So hopefully we go 4-3.
No, hopefully we go 3-4.
We go 3-4. Hi, man.
This is all just fun banter.
I know.
We're not. I'm just saying for everybody in the chat. Which shout out to everybody in the chat, Gridiron Yuki and Fun One. Shout out. You're an Eagles fan. Maybe we'll get in contact with you because for those of you who don't know, this season I'm actually trying to accomplish a goal of doing a video collaboration with a YouTuber for every game on the Browns schedule. It's
nice.
Like in the past, I've done select games, like maybe 2 at most. But this season, I'm like, you know what? I want to try and do a collaboration for every game.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
I like that idea though. I checked it out after I think you wrote me. I checked out your channel. I was like, oh, damn, that's actually pretty dope. Like you're actually reaching out to other YouTubers, just for other people to check them out. But I appreciate it though.
Yeah, I gotta try and find a Texans YouTuber and an Eagles YouTuber. So those two aren't gonna be easy. So we'll see.
What? Oh, my bad. I have a question. Was it easy to find Raider content creators? Because I know there's a lot of them out there now.
It wasn't easy to find Raiders YouTubers at first, but then
maybe for me because I'm a Raider content creator. I know them.
Yeah. So I started looking around and I'm like, oh, there's a few. Okay, let me reach out. Like I wrote comments on people's channels.
Yeah, I feel it.
I think I commented on one of your videos asking about it or something. Yeah. So yeah. But overall, I'm pretty surprised with how we're playing. Like, we're 5-2. Granted, we
Mm-hmm.
lost our 2 losses. We only scored like 13 points combined.
Yeah.
38-6 against Baltimore and 38-7 against Pittsburgh. But we've beaten the teams we should have beat,
Mm-hmm.
and I was surprised we won that Indianapolis game. If I'm being honest. I actually picked against the Browns for that game because I'm like, because the Colts had the number 1 defense in the league at the time,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
had solid guys on their D line like DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard. I can't think of the other players on their D line right now, but I saw what Indy was doing, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a tough game, so let me pick the Colts. Obviously, that came back to bite me in the ass.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to make of Baker Mayfield. Like, I don't know if he's our future quarterback or not. Derek Carr is your quarterback, but the year he was drafted, which remind me, what year was he drafted again?
2014.
Okay, so 2014. Thank you. The Browns, I believe, had an opportunity to draft him before the Raiders did.
Oh yeah, because he was a 2nd-round pick.
Right, and I'm thinking Derek Carr could be a nice fit for the Browns. I saw what he did at Fresno. I believe he went to Fresno State.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, he seems like a solid quarterback who can make plays happen in the NFL. I think it would be a good fit for the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously we decided to pass on him. And then, 2017, we have the opportunity to draft Carson Wentz. Nope, we trade that pick to the Eagles. And then the next season, we have the opportunity to draft either Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. I believe we traded that pick to the Texans, which allowed them to take Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard a rumor that we wanted to take Mahomes, but the Chiefs traded up and took him instead. And then we ended up with Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall, which I'm not sure what to make of Baker Mayfield. Like, I don't know if he's our future.
No, I feel it. I remember the year you guys drafted Baker Mayfield first overall. That year, I know a lot of people were thinking, what, Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen or something like that. Honestly, that year I was a big fan of Baker coming out of college. So you guys drafting him, I was like, okay, I could see that happening. And his rookie season, he did pretty solid. I know he's had a lot of ups and downs lately. I know it's kind of hard to see where, if he is the quarterback for you guys or not. This last game, I know he started off pretty slow, and then he turned it up like
5.
Yeah, he turned it up like later in the game. I think after OBJ went out, maybe But
we're gonna talk about that one.
Oh no, sure. I know, but he stepped up big. But I can't fault you guys for your guys' losses because I know in your losses he probably looked really bad. But it was against the Ravens and against the Steelers, who both of them are probably one of the best teams in the AFC. Especially the Steelers right now, like with the way they're playing. So, but like you said, you guys beat every team you guys should have beaten, and usually, that's a positive. Like there's teams that the Raiders should beat and we don't beat. But right. I know, but I didn't expect the Raiders to beat the Chiefs, but we did. Right. And I know what you guys thinking about Baker, if he's the quarterback or not. It's the same thing with Derek Carr. Derek Carr, like with Raider fans, like a lot of Raider fans, they're 50-50 on Derek Carr. A lot of people want him out. They want to move on from him. And then there's another half that's okay with them. And Derek hasn't had all the weapons to show it, and he has been inconsistent in the past couple of years. But so I believe this year, I think that's why we brought in Marcus Mariota just in case, because this is basically Derek's year if he should stay or not. Yeah, because I know a lot of people during the offseason wanted Tom Brady. I wasn't for it, but if we did, that's fine with me. But like I tell all my subscribers or whatnot, all my fans or whatnot, I'm gonna I'm gonna be a Derek Carr fan as long as he's a Raider until he's gone from the team.
Yeah,
Because I know how it's been. Like you Browns fan, you guys went through a carousel of quarterbacks. We have too. Like since Rich Gannon, we had Dante Culpepper, Aaron Brooks, the worst, Jamarcus Russell, Carson Palmer, and whatnot. So having Derek Carr for 7 years now, I can say, I'm grateful for having him. He's been the best quarterback since Gannon. He's probably not the best quarterback in the NFL, but so far he's getting the job done. But
right.
I think for Baker, you guys are 5-2, and I know he hasn't looked like the greatest quarterback, but he's been getting the job done. So, like,
Sure.
the question is because Derek Carr, his stats are always good. Like his stats are always good. The wins aren't always there though. That's why a lot of Raider fans, they don't care about his stats. For Baker, I know probably his stats don't look good, but he's getting a job done. So it's kind of like, would you rather have wins or elite quarterback? It kind of goes back and forth.
Right.
So I mean, for you guys, as long as you guys are winning, I think he's safe. But I see where you're coming from, where you're questionable about
Right.
Baker.
Because you referenced his rookie season in
Yeah.
in 2018. He comes in week 3 against the Jets on Thursday Night Football. Unfortunately, it was a result of Tyrod Taylor getting injured, so that was unfortunate. But he goes on to beat the Jets, and then coincidentally, who did we play in week 4? We were at you guys in week 4.
We did. That was his first full start. I think so.
Yeah, in that crazy overtime game, which I can
We
tell
won.
you now, you guys will be coming back to Cleveland some point next season because the AFC North plays the AFC West. We're going to be at Kansas City and at the Chargers, home against the Raiders and home against the Broncos. I'm just one of those guys that likes to look ahead to future schedules and future opponents, and I'm like, what home games do I potentially want to go to next season? I don't know. I'm just one of those guys. I don't know what your home and away games are going to be in terms of the Baltimore Ravens engraving bids. He's in the chat right now. Again, shout out to everyone in the chat. If you have questions or comments for me or my guest, Samoan Raider, please feel free to write them in the chat and ask. I will certainly get to them. So feel free. Fun one. I know you were saying something about Darren Waller. He's the key for the Raiders offense, I think, because I feel like from what I've seen of the Raiders, which is a fair amount, because as I said, I watched you guys on Monday Night Football against the Saints. I watched some of your game against Buffalo because for some reason they showed that game here in Cleveland. I don't know why. I watched some of your game against Tampa Bay. It seems like you run your offense through Darren Waller. Is that a fair assessment, or am I a little bit off there?
No, I can see that. I think he's basically one of the biggest factors on our offense, along with Josh Jacobs.
Sure.
Like John Gruden, like it's sometimes stressful watching his play calling because it still seems like he's like a old head, like still calling plays. I feel like the main weapons or the main play calls that we do like we're more of a run offense, like a run heavy offense, which tries
kind
to
of like us then.
Yeah, but Darren Waller is always that safety blanket for Derek Carr, but we always try to get the run going just to open up plays all over, so we could run play actions or whatnot. But if Derek Carr is in a pinch, Darren Waller is always his go-to receiver. But so far this season, after drafting Henry Ruggs, we've opened up our playbook just a little bit, and even bringing in Nelson Aguilar, who I'm starting to enjoy a bit more this season.
Okay.
But I could say that you're right in some part, but I believe Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller are who we run this offense through.
Yeah. So we have a question from a fellow YouTuber of mine.
Yeah.
He's Engraven Vids. He says, Samoan Raider, what's your favorite part about doing YouTube?
Honestly, it's just giving my opinions. Like I like I also like editing too. I just like putting my character out there, or not character, like my personality out there, giving my thoughts on Raider news. Uh, Honestly, that's about it. Like I just do it. Like when I first got into it, like I just did it for fun. Now I kind of look at it kind of not like as a business, but it's kind of like a side hustle for me. But I do it for fun. Just
Yeah.
it keeps me updated with Raiders news and whatnot, and it also gives me an excuse to be it gives me an excuse to watch Raider games every Sunday. So I'll tell the
Yeah.
wifey, like, hey, I gotta go work right now. So I'll just sit in my office for like a whole day just watching Raiders football and just getting ready to do like recaps or whatnot. But it just
Is
sucks.
your is your wife
It's stressful when we lose. That's about
yeah.
it. But
Is your wife a big football fan or not really?
she's not a big football fan, but she was a Steelers fan before she got married. And she converted over
The
to the
Raiders?
nation, to the Raider Nation. Yeah. So I mean, overall, yeah, I believe just keeping up with the Raiders and just giving my opinions in a
Yeah.
fun way is probably what I love doing about YouTube and
Yeah.
just meeting a lot of people.
Yeah. For me, I got into this because of watching people like Ingraven Vids, who, like I said, is a Baltimore Ravens fan, Norbcam, big time Seattle Seahawks YouTuber, Gangrene David, big time New York Jets YouTuber. And I'm like, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and my channel didn't actually start out as like a Cleveland Browns channel. It was just kind of a general Cleveland sort of YouTube channel. Like
Mhm,
my channel wasn't even originally called UngarToTheMax. It was
mhm.
originally called like Wine and Gold Unger or something like that. And that's because I'm a big time like Cleveland Cavaliers fan and
Right on.
Columbus Blue Jackets fan, but although wine and gold are the colors of the Cavs. But I'm just like, I don't really. Crazy Dog 99 is in the chat, and I know he's a big time Cleveland Browns YouTuber, but I when I first started, I didn't really see any Cleveland Browns YouTubers. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can fill a need in that sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. And this YouTube aspect is just part of the sports room. Every Friday morning, I actually send out a weekly newsletter through MailChimp that
Mhm.
kind of gives a general overview of what happened in the past week in the sports world. The sign up form will be the link for the sign up form will be included in the description of this video. So if you want to receive a weekly newsletter from me, all you have to do is click on that link, and all you do is fill out your email, your first name, your last name, and then you're signed up. And if you decide, hey, I don't really want to do this anymore, you can unsubscribe. It's no big deal.
Mhm.
So we got another question from Gridiron Yuki, who is a big time San Francisco 49ers fan. He says, do you think the Raiders will make the playoffs?
I believe we have a good chance of making it this year if we keep playing the way we play, and after getting through this tough schedule, like beginning of the season schedule, if we could keep playing and start winning games, I think we are a playoff team. But I believe we're more of a wild card team. I
Yeah,
believe the Chiefs are they're the kings of the AFC West, and I'm not afraid to say it because even though we beat them this year, that they're just loaded, and they always Andy Reid. I got a lot of respect for Andy Reid, even though I hate the Chiefs. He knows how to run that team, and they've been relevant for the past couple of years. I believe the Raiders are just coming up right now, but I believe we're a wild card team, if anything.
yeah.
That's where I see us at right now.
I checked the current playoff matchups. Right now, I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think the Raiders would be in, but
Hmm.
somehow the Browns, and I could be wrong about that. I'll definitely double check again. But right now, I believe the Browns would be matched up with the Chiefs in Kansas City. So we would probably get destroyed because,
You never
it's
know,
more.
man. You never know that they can be beaten though. I know
Yeah.
that, but like I
Hey, you
you
did
guys would
it.
have a good.
You
I
did
know we
it.
did it. I mean, somehow we don't got the best defense out there, so I don't know
Right.
how we did it. Though.
Actually, that brings me to another point I have another point/question.
Yeah.
So I've seen your offense. Sometimes you looked like we talked about this a little bit when we were discussing Waller and Jacobs, but
Yeah.
I watched your game against the Saints, and you guys look like more of a run first team, kind of like how we are.
Yeah.
And then I watched I saw highlights of the Kansas City game, and I'm like, oh, they're a passing team. So maybe can you clarify that? Like, what type of offense are you? Like, do the Raiders have? Are you guys a run first team? Are you a pass first team? Are you somewhere in between? Like, can you just clarify that?
Yeah. I think we're somewhere in between, but we're more of a run first team. We like to get the run going with Josh Jacobs. You see, like this past game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have the best run defense or one of the best run defense in the league, and we were still trying to run the ball, trying to get a little bit of chunks here and there, but we're run first, and we try to open up our offense to find weapons like Nelson Aguilar or Henry Ruggs down deep. Because if we're successful in the run, we could get a lot of plays, like a lot of big plays off of that, off of play action. But it just depends on the team that we're playing. The Saints are another run. They're another good run defense as well. So they shut down Josh Jacobs. Well, Josh Jacobs hasn't ran 100 yards this season, but he's been able to get a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
But against the Saints, they kind of stuffed up Jacobs here and there. He got some good runs here and there, but
I remember Richard got a touchdown at the end.
Yeah, he got a touchdown. Yeah, and we didn't start. If the run doesn't work, then we start trying to open up our playbook. The thing that just gets a lot of Raider fans kind of mad, because when we open up our playbook just a little bit, we do more of the short routes, intermediate routes, like dink and dunks most of the time, and then like when we need to, we'll throw the ball down deep. But sometimes we always why don't we throw the ball down deep all the time?
It worked for you guys against Kansas City.
I think it really does surprise me. I think Derek Carr. I think our momentum was, I don't know, it was like at an all-time high. Like he was carving. Like Derek Carr could get the job done. He could find the receivers, but if the receivers start dropping balls, then we start going back to dinking and dunking again. But I think the Chiefs game, was it? Oh no, the Patriots game. The Patriots game was kind of tough. We were trying to run the ball, but we got stuffed a lot. We tried to find Darren Waller, who's our other weapon, but they shut down Waller to one catch that game. So
but
we really didn't have nothing in that game, honestly going for us.
Bill Belichick. So
it's Bill. So Well, to answer your question, we are a run first team.
Okay. Quick fun fact: this is the first time we've been had a winning we've been 5-1 or 5-2 since I believe the statistic said since 1994. And who was the head coach of the Browns in 1994? None other than Bill Belichick.
Oh, that's crazy.
How sad is that?
Did they fire him after that season? Or
they might.
What happened?
I don't remember. I wasn't alive yet. I've been alive for all the bad years.
Trust me. Same here, man. Same here. Since 2003, we only had one winning season in 2016.
Yeah, when you guys went to the playoffs.
We went to the playoffs without Derek Carr, basically.
Right.
To our luck. Yeah.
Yeah, you were down to what, your third string quarterback, something that?
Yeah. I remember Connor Cook.
Yeah.
Memories.
What happened to Connor Cook? You guys drafted him.
I honestly don't know. Other than Derek Carr, every quarterback that we've drafted or tried to bring in hasn't really worked out some way, somehow. But
yeah, that sounds a lot like us.
yeah, we're probably in the same book,
Yeah, but you're mentioning your receivers. You have Henry Ruggs. You have Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
You have Darren Waller. For us, sure, we don't have Odell anymore, but if you watch that Cincinnati game, for some reason, and this is not to say Odell was holding us back or anything.
No, I know what you're going to say.
But once Odell went out, Baker seemed to almost get his mojo back. And he was finding Rashard Higgins.
He was finding
Jarvis Landry. He's like, oh, David Njoku, you want to get involved in the passing game? Here you go. Austin Hooper. No, Austin Hooper was not there because he was having his appendix removed. My bad.
I think Donovan Peoples-Jones too is getting some work too.
Yeah, DPJ.
Yeah.
He caught the game-winning touchdown against the Bengals, actually. And it's just like, again, this is not to say that Odell Beckham Jr. is a bad receiver or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what he did with that amazing like one-handed catch against against the Cowboys all those years ago.
Yeah.
But maybe what it was for Baker is that, like, you know, he had other receivers, but he's like, Odell's the
main guy,
the superstar receiver, and I gotta feed him. And it just didn't look right.
No, I could see what you're saying too, because I feel like having a guy of that caliber, you know, a superstar receiver, I feel like sometimes the quarterback feels the need to get the ball to him all the time, like kind of force feed him a bit. And it is kind of crazy because after he did go down, he did start opening. Like, he didn't feel the need to throw it to one receiver. He just threw it to the open receiver, you know?
Right.
And yeah, because that's what we're doing with our offense. Like, we drafted Henry Ruggs early in the first round, but he's not our main receiver. If he's open, Derek will find him. I think, when we did have like Amari and Crabtree, you know.
I was just about to bring up
Amari and Crabtree. Yeah, he'll try to find both of them, you know. But
so you felt like it was almost the same situation.
Yeah, but Amari wasn't the superstar receiver. He was a good receiver for us. He had a lot of good games and bad games, but he wasn't the superstar. Like, I feel like if we had Antonio Brown last season, because when we picked him up, I felt like that would have been the superstar receiver that he would have tried to force feed throughout the game, because you know some of these receivers, they could get mad. Like, there's certain receivers that get mad that if they don't get the ball a couple of times, and then there's some receivers that are okay with having a big game and then the next game having no catches as long as the team wins, which it should always be about. But I remember Baker saying in that first game, like, you know, like he's got to try not to force feed what do you call it, OBJ, because he's not looking for his other receivers or whatnot, something like that. I think now it might be a blessing and a curse. No knock against OBJ, which kind of sucks, because like the whole time, like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, looking at the schedule, looking at the Browns, I'm like, oh, you know, that's a good game, that's fine, we're good. But I think after seeing like Baker blow up after OBJ went down, you don't know how this offense is going to be. Maybe he's going to be more open to other receivers, finding Kareem Hunt if he needs to. Like, it doesn't have to go to one person. We got to worry about everybody, you know?
Right. The one thing you don't have to worry about is Nick Chubb running over you. Like, he did it.
He did have a big game that first time we played with.
He scored his first career touchdown
he broke out that game. He broke out that game because he had like a huge run. He had a couple of huge runs that game, I believe.
Yeah, so. I actually didn't get to watch a lot of that game because I was with my dad at Cedar Point.
Oh, damn.
We caught some of it though. But I'm excited for this game because I actually am surprised that it's a 1 o'clock Eastern time game, because for you, that means it's a 10 o'clock game. I would have, because last time you guys came to Cleveland, which was like 2014 or whatever.
It
was a 4 o'clock game. So I would have thought the NFL would accommodate you a little bit.
Oh, they don't ever accommodate us. You see, this past week, man, we had a Sunday night football game, and we got a COVID case, and they move our game forward, not backward. It just happens, man.
Yeah, but how is everything with Trent Brown and your offensive line?
I don't know, man. It's been shaky. We haven't had our offensive line at 100% since week 1. And
you're going to need it this game.
Yeah, we're probably going to. You know, you got Myles Garrett on that defensive line, and everybody else.
Sheldon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot you guys have Sheldon. Yeah. I mean, our backups have been solid, you know, but it's not the same when you have our starting lineup. But Trent Brown, I don't know what's going on with him. I feel like this year I've been kind of tipping the scale 50-50 on him. Like, when he's on the field, he's one of the best tackles in the league, but he's I don't know, like the whole COVID case, and our whole offensive line was, what do you call it, like sent home last week, and they only got cleared the day of the game. That could have affected us in some way, but so far, our offensive line, we're definitely going to need them this week against the Browns.
Yeah, but
Hopefully,
you guys,
hopefully to step up.
yeah, but you guys have a pretty good defense yourself.
Yeah, our defense, we have a lot of players that have a lot of
Yeah,
potential, but
we have a former Raider on our defense, actually,
Carl
Carl
Joseph,
Joseph.
yeah. I
Yep.
remember when he signed with you guys. I was like, dang, I was excited to have him on the team, but I guess it didn't work out.
Yeah,
But
he's
our
playing well
defense,
for us. But continue. Sorry.
oh no, you're fine. Our defense, I don't know what it is. Like we got a lot of these players, like what Corey Littleton. He was a star for the Rams. We
Right,
we
I
bring in,
remember
we bring in
Crosby.
yeah, well, we have Crosby, who this year, I know a lot of more teams are looking at him more now than last year. So, uh, I I don't know, man. Jonathan Abrams is a solid player. We have a
Isn't
lot of
he? Isn't Jonathan Abram out though? Because he
no,
was
he's
like,
playing this week. He was out last week because he was in contact with Trent Brown, and
okay,
in the 5 days he wouldn't have been able to make the Sunday game. That's why we were wondering why they didn't push it back to at least Monday or Tuesday. I don't know, so he could play, but
okay,
he wasn't able to play last week, but he was cleared this week. But
okay.
yeah, I mean, our defense
To
is our biggest
clarify that.
liability. Uh, a lot of Raid fans know that our defense isn't the best. Our offense is what carries our team,
Yeah,
and a lot of people do want to get our defensive coordinator Paul Gunther fired, and rightfully so, because our defense has given up so many points so far this year. But I don't know. Like for me, I feel like we should keep him just for the rest of the season instead of changing it up, because we could get the job done. Even with how,
right.
because our defense is still all right, but if our offense plays good, then we'll be okay. Because most of the games that we've played, it's been high scoring games because our
Yeah,
offense had to outscore the other team. But I believe
and
that's what
we've
we're gonna.
scored, and we've scored like 30 points in pretty much all of our wins. I
Yeah,
think.
same.
Yeah. Let's see. Cincinnati, first Cincinnati game we scored 30. Yeah, I believe we've scored 30 in all of our victories. So,
Yeah, same here.
so I feel like the Browns and Raiders are almost mirror images of each other. Is that a fair assessment? Do you feel like?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. You guys just have a
Yeah,
better defense, and I wish
yeah,
we had the receivers you guys had too.
yeah. What type of defense do you guys play? Speaking of which, are you like a 4-3 defense? Are
Yeah,
you a
we're four
3-4?
we're 4-3. A
Okay.
traditional 4-3, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we play as well. And typically, what we've done, from what I've seen, is like we drafted Denzel Ward number 4 overall,
Yep.
and based on what I've watched of the Browns, which is obviously a lot, Denzel usually gets matched up with like the opponent's best receiver. So, like if we were playing Cincinnati, I've seen him get matched up with AJ Green.
Mm-hmm.
When Antonio Brown was with Pittsburgh, Denzel was matched up with AB. So you guys have a lot of, I don't want to say great receivers.
No.
You have good receivers with
Yeah, but no number
Ruggs.
one.
Ruggs has the potential to become great. So
Yeah.
I think. So I'm not sure who we're gonna put Denzel Ward on. Like
Yeah.
I'm not. It's a hard one for me this week.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
And I don't. And Terrence Mitchell usually goes with the other receiver that Denzel is not on. So if let's say we put Denzel on Henry Ruggs, my guess is Terrence Mitchell would then go with Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Because our team is kind of different because we don't really have a number one receiver. It's just whoever Derek Carr can find open. But I think if they were to put Denzel on anybody, it would probably be because he's pretty fast, right? Like I know he's a pretty fast cornerback. It will
pretty physical too.
Yeah, it will most likely be with Henry Ruggs, and then Nelson Aguilar would be the other receiver, and then we still have other players out there. But I believe it would be Henry Ruggs, just so just so he doesn't have Henry Ruggs, go for a big play, because I believe that's what we do. Like our offense, like Henry Ruggs doesn't get a lot of like short passes or whatnot. Anytime you see Derek Carr try to throw it to Henry Ruggs, he tries to get that one big play.
Yeah, I remember the one
Yeah.
huge play he had in Kansas City.
Yeah, and that's what I think. That's how our offense plays. If we could hit one of those big ones, then it kind of gets our offense going. And I feel like if they do want to neutralize that, I believe putting Denzel Ward on him would be the smart move. Even though he's not, I don't consider him a number one receiver. I consider him like kind of like I don't know, the player you could put all over the field depending on what you need him to do.
Right.
But the Raiders, we don't have our number one receiver. I think is Darren Waller still.
Yeah.
But the
Which
receiver
we've done okay against tight ends, not great.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm worried about that against you guys because
I hope he has a good game, man.
I've seen how much you guys use Darren Waller. I'm like, I don't know how I like that.
Yeah, he was actually a receiver coming into the league, and then he got translated to a tight end. So
yeah.
By
the way, the only reason we're playing you guys this season is because we both finished in third place in our respective divisions. Otherwise, we would not be playing you this season.
Oh, you're right. I don't know if we play the Ravens or the Steelers this year.
No, because the AFC North is playing the AFC South. So this is our first of two matchups against teams who finished in the same spot as us in other divisions. We also have the lonely New York Jets in Week 16. Yeah, so that should be fun and an easy win. No offense, Gangrene David.
I know that. I don't know what's going on with that, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. By the way, however long you have is fine. If we need to wrap up soon, you just let me know. So
yeah, that's on you. It's on you, bro.
Okay, but if you have to get going to go somewhere, you can just let me know. So no problem. But so we've talked a little bit about both sides of the ball, but we ain't really talked. We've talked a little bit about the Raiders defense, and you mentioned that you guys play a 4-3, but how do you think your defense matches up with our offense?
That's a tough one, man. Because our defense overall, like I guess, like scheme wise and like play calling wise, they're not really that good. Our defense, I've mentioned it a lot, plays off of momentum. So if we get a couple of good stops, or if we get a turnover or a sack, our defense starts to play good. Our defense isn't one to where like we shut down the run game or we shut down the passing game. It just depends on the game or how the game flows. Like you see the game with the Patriots, we shut down Cam Newton from running anywhere, but their running backs ran a total of 250 yards on our defense, and we did good against our wide receivers. You see the Chiefs game, we got to
Mahomes.
we got to Mahomes a lot. Like I was surprised that we were making him agitated in the pocket, but then you see the Bucs game, Tom Brady had all day sitting in the pocket, like just slinging the ball. So I mean, I can't really say that our team is good against the run and they would stop like Kareem Hunt or they'll stop Jarvis Landry or whatnot. It just depends on how the game flows. And honestly, like we could shut down Baker or we can't. It just depends on how the game is. Our team really plays on momentum. That's why I say our defense is not really that type of defense, even though I wish they were like that defense that will stop the run or not give up 100-yard rusher or something like that. But that's about it. That's why a lot of Raider fans are frustrated, because I'm frustrated too. But as long as our offense holds up, that's all that really matters in this game.
Yeah, I watched your little music video that you made because every little thing is gonna be all right.
Oh yeah, I just did that for fun, man.
What? I had to scout you out before I brought you on.
I feel it.
See what type of YouTuber you are. It looked like on your channel, it looked like this was the first time you've ever done a collaboration with another YouTuber.
I mean, I've done a couple before. Like I did a lot more earlier on when I was doing it, but then like lately in the past couple of years. There has been people that hit me up, but then like at the time they would hit me up, I'm so busy. Like, but lately, like now when you hit me up, I'm kind of like I have more free time to kind of
Yeah.
join somebody. But yeah. I don't really do it as often as I
Yeah.
should. But yeah.
Yeah. But, we were talking about, we've talked about your defense a fair amount, but who do you think's going to be matched up with Jarvis? Because now he is going to be our number one. So,
Oh yeah. We still have a Trayvon Mullen who's been our best cornerback so far out of
uh-huh.
Clemson. Yeah. So he's been our number one. We had Damon Arnett, who I don't know if he's going to be playing this game. He's our first round rookie that we had this year. He's a solid cornerback as well. But other than Trayvon Mullen, all the other cornerbacks, I believe they're solid, but they can also be a liability on defense. But most likely, I believe Trayvon would be on Jarvis for this game.
Okay. Yeah. So, Baker, as we've talked about, I feel like he's been Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where, 2018, he plays well,
Uh-huh.
Had a couple duds along the way, but that's understandable. 2019, just last year, we promote Freddie Kitchens as our head coach. We bring in Odell. We do all this stuff. And Baker doesn't look the same. And it might have been the sophomore slump.
Yeah.
Don't know. And this season, he's looked decent at times. He's looked not so good at times. Even in the wins, I wouldn't say he's always looked great. Like in the Dallas game, for example, he had the opportunity to close out that game early and not let the Cowboys, make that massive comeback. Like there's a throw where, he has Odell breaking down the sideline, and all he has to do is throw a nice, easy pass for him, and he completely overthrows it. Or like if you go back and watch the Colts game, he throws 2 interceptions late. Now, I don't think the Colts would convert on those because they have Philip Rivers as their quarterback, which, no offense to Philip Rivers, but he's holding the Colts back.
He is.
So I just, that's why I'm having such a hard time with Baker. It's like I think I saw a stat the other day. His QBR goes down as the game goes on, which maybe that's going to be beneficial for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's why I have such a hard time with Baker, because it's like we ask you to, close out these games.
Yeah.
And you haven't been able to do it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, like, even with the wins that you guys have had and Baker not really showing like big numbers or whatnot, I think like for me, the win is more like I feel like the win is more important to me than the stats, because
Sure.
like I said, like with Derek Carr, his stats are good. Like so far this season, he's been over 100% QBR, but there's still fans out there that want to move on from him, and rightfully so, because he hasn't had the win. So, I mean, it's not every day you have it's not all the time you have a Patrick Mahomes or, one of those big time quarterbacks that could get it done and just show like they're the quarterback. But I think for me, like, I know I can't really speak on the Baker too much because I haven't watched him a lot, but I think as long as you guys are winning, he should be safe until he loses the job. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like Derek Carr is a solid quarterback. Would I put him in elite status? No. Would I put him in like the terrible needs to be traded status? No. I would say he's mid-level, kind of like Baker in that
I think like one thing I've always said, like, I think if Derek Carr was on a better team, he's not the quarterback. He's not like a Russell Wilson type of quarterback where it doesn't matter what you put around Russell. He'll get the job done. Derek is like, if you put him in the right system, like a team that could, use him better than the Raiders. I think he could be one of the top quarterbacks in the league because he's done it with the weapons he's had with the Raiders, which hasn't been really good till these past year and this year. Like if you
Right.
put him on New England or something like that, like I believe he'll, or even like the Colts, like he probably do better there than he would do with the Raiders, honestly. And I think that's why a lot of Raider fans, because a lot of Raider fans see the Patrick Mahomes of the league, the Lamar Jacksons, or even, a Russell Wilson's doing everything for the team, and that's what they expect out of Derek Carr. And Derek Carr is not that quarterback. Derek Carr is a system quarterback. Like if you put him, like you see Alex Smith. Alex Smith he was an okay quarterback with the Niners, but when you put him with Andy Reid, he brought the best out of Alex Smith, and Alex Smith had his best years with the Chiefs. And if Derek Carr went to the Chiefs with that system, I think he would have played way better than he ever played with the Raiders. So
Right.
that's how I see it.
Yeah. And you've mentioned a few times that like the stats don't matter as much when you're winning. I don't know if the Browns are necessarily winning these games because of Baker Mayfield, though.
Yeah, I see.
Like,
I see what you mean.
Like in the Washington game, we won that game partially because Dwayne Haskins just kept giving us presents.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true.
Right. And like I feel like we become more of a run first team.
Yeah.
Once Nick Chubb gets back, we'll really get back to that. But even with Kareem Hunt and Dearness Johnson, we've stayed with that identity. And so I feel like, I don't know how to say this other than maybe we've won some of these games in spite of Baker Mayfield in a way, if that makes sense.
No, I know what you mean. Like, well, you guys do have one of the better defenses in the league. So, like,
right?
What other team? Like when Tom Brady that 1 year, Tom Brady, what do you call it? Went to the Super Bowl mostly because of his defense. Even with Peyton Manning that 1 year they won the Super Bowl, and Peyton Manning didn't do anything for that team other than be a game manager for that team. I think sometimes I wish that the Raiders could do that, but we can never rely on our defense.
Yeah. What did you think of the Raiders drafting Clelin Ferrell 4th overall? Were you
man? Honestly, like I like Clelin Ferrell coming into the draft, but I didn't see him as the number 4 overall pick, the number 4 overall pick that year. I thought we could have gotten him later in the 20s because we had the 24th and the 27th pick in that year's draft. I thought
because of that Khalil Mack trade.
Khalil Mack trade, which we got Josh Jacobs out of, and then the Cowboys trade where we got Jonathan Abram, who both of them I believe are so far better than Cleveland. Cleveland's not a bad player on our team, and I think people wouldn't hate him as much on our team if he was a 20th overall pick because he's been solid and he stopped the run so far this year. But when you think of a top 5 player, like you think of like Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack when we drafted him. But I don't think he's that player. I think he's just going to be a solid player for our team, but he's not that elite player you expect out of a 4th pick. I wanted Josh Allen that year, like Josh Allen from Kentucky.
The defensive end from
Either
Kentucky.
him or Devin White. Those are the 2 players I wanted. Man, Devin White, just seeing him play this last week against the Raiders, man, he showed he was a top 5
opportunity to draft him.
Both of those guys were like, it was either Josh Allen or Devin White. For a lot of Raider fans, that's what, because we needed a linebacker and we needed a defensive end. Either one of those would have worked out. And we went with Clelin Ferrell, which caught a lot of people by surprise. And Cleveland's not a bad player, like I said. He's just not, like if we drafted him in the 2nd round or later on in the 1st round, we would have been like, oh, he's a solid player. But the fact that we drafted him that early and he's still a solid player, we expect more from him. And at the time, I wasn't really all for Clelin Ferrell. I was okay with it, but so far, he hasn't shown that elite potential that I guess Mike Mayock or John Gruden's seen in him.
Overall, I'm surprised with how well Mike Mayock is doing as your general manager.
I love that guy, man.
I am surprised you guys actually took a chance on him because he was like a draft analyst or something at NFL Network, and I hear the news like Mike Mayock has been hired as the general manager of the Raiders. I'm like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah,
What?
that's Gruden's boy right there. That's why.
Yeah. I was surprised when you guys hired Gruden to like a 10-year contract. I'm like, okay, I
Jeez.
get it. They want Chucky to come home.
Yeah,
They
I think
want to
that's the
try.
only. Yeah, that's
They
the
want
only
to
way
try
we would
and
have gotten
mend the
back.
wound. So
Yeah, I mean, with the Mike Mayock thing, I was actually excited to have him, man. Like everybody else that we've had, like what we had as GMs, what we had Al Davis, then or he was the owner and GM basically, and then bringing on Reggie McKenzie from Green Bay was a solid move. He cleaned up our cap a lot. I think he was good with money. That's what his strength was, but he sucked as like drafting players. Like
yeah,
the only year he had a good year was the Derek Carr, Khalil Mack year. And those are kind of like gimmies, kind of like, Khalil Mack was a gimme because he got passed on. And then Derek Carr fell to us in the second round. But other than that year, we had a lot of people that weren't really. We had the
yeah,
DJ Haydens, we had the Carl Joseph, who is a good player, but I don't know, he hasn't worked out for us. Gary on Conley, so on so forth. But when we went and got Mike Mayock, we already knew that his strength was drafting. So,
yeah,
and especially last year was our first year having 3 first round picks. It was perfect. And so far, those players last year have been solid for us. Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Abrams so far this year. We get Cleveland Farrell. That was probably the only one that was kind of up in the air, but Max Crosby later on uh, balled out for us. So, I mean, I see where he's going, and I was actually okay with that move. And so far, he's been doing a good job as GM.
yeah. What was I just gonna say? I was surprised when you guys or that Derek Carr fell to you in the second round. I'm like, how is nobody taking him in the first
Yeah, yeah,
round?
yeah.
I'm like, hey Browns, you need a quarterback. There's one right there. Take him.
And then they take Johnny Manziel, I remember.
Oh, don't remind me.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Johnny Manziel that year. That's what's funny. It was Johnny Manziel or Derek Carr that I was okay with that year because a lot of people were saying that the Raiders could get Johnny Manziel with the 5th pick or something. But I was like, I wouldn't mind that. But then I heard rumors that the Raiders were interested in Derek Carr with that 5th overall pick, and I was not for it though. Like for the 5th overall pick, and the fact that he kept falling, and then Johnny Manziel kept falling too. So I was hoping that Johnny made it to the second round. Even Teddy Bridgewater went 32nd overall in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only team that we had to worry about that year was the Texans because they had the first pick in the second round, and we had the 5th pick in the second round. And when they picked up an offensive lineman, I was like, "Oh shit, we're gonna get Derek Carr." And when we drafted him, I was excited to see him play, and he played pretty good. Because I think that was the season we went and got Matt Schaub from free agency, and he was supposed to be our quarterback for the future till Derek Carr was ready. But we all knew what happened
Yeah.
since then. So.
And you drafted, wasn't that the same draft where you got Connor Cook?
No. Connor came the next year. No. Connor came 17. No.
I thought,
It's the 2015 draft. It was the next
okay.
year. It
I
was the next
remember
year,
you
yeah.
drafted him like 100th overall or something.
Yeah, something like that. And I was excited to see him play too, because at
Yeah,
Michigan State he was okay.
I wanted Connor Cook to play well and have a spot in the NFL. I'm not like a Michigan State fan or anything like
You're a
that.
fan of his though.
Yeah, but I'm a fan of his. Yes.
That's the same with me and Colt McCoy. I love Colt McCoy. I'm a Texas fan, like a Longhorn fan.
Yeah.
And when he came to the league, I was hoping that he went to the Browns, right? That's where he
Yes.
got drafted to.
Yes.
I was like, I wanted him to be that guy because he was good for us with the Texas Longhorns, but he's been hopping from team to team, I believe, like since then.
Yeah. Gridiron Yuki has a question. What are your thoughts on HR3? I believe he means Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs, yeah, the third, yeah. I love that pick. I mean, in the draft, I wanted CeeDee Lamb. I'm not gonna lie, CeeDee Lamb was my guy, and then Henry Ruggs was the last guy I wanted. Like it was CeeDee, Jerry Jeudy, and then Henry Ruggs. But at first, I was like, you know what? Okay, that's fine. I like it as long as we use him the right way, because our offense last year before we drafted Henry Ruggs was a dink and dunk offense, like passing the ball and whatnot. We never really took shots down the field, so I didn't understand why we got him. But so far this year, I love the move. I could see that they're trying to get the ball to him down deep, try to use him as that Tyreek Hill player for our team. So, I mean, so far, if we could continue using him the right way, I'm all for it, and I like the move.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned that because Fun One, I missed this in the chat. He said, the Raiders remind me of the Chiefs. Both teams have a good tight end, he said a god tight end, and they have a very, very, very fast wide receiver.
Yeah. What do you call it? I think Mike Mayock alliterated to this after we drafted him. I think they wanted to kind of go hand in hand with the Chiefs because obviously the Chiefs were the team to beat in the AFC West. So I think we already had our tight end, and then obviously when we went and got Henry Ruggs, we wanted to get our own Tyreek Hill type of player for this team. So I mean,
right?
I could see us. I could see the reasoning of why we went and got him.
Yeah.
And you see the game that we played against them, we used them pretty well in that game, and we got a win. The first time, and that was the first time in Derek Carr's career that he's won an Arrowhead. So
yeah.
I mean, that's obviously a plus.
So, we were talking about Mike Mayock earlier and how he seems to have found a groove with the Raiders. We've been trying to figure out who our general manager is as well. Like, we had Mike Holmgren in for a while. I think we had some.
Okay.
Aww. Who's that?
That's my dog.
Oh, I love dogs.
Oh,
what breed?
Aussie German Shepherd mix.
Oh, cute.
Okay. All right. After.
Okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, if you gotta get going, don't just let me know.
Yeah, that's
fine. Do you think signing Marcus Mariota and Jason Witten was a good idea? Gridiron Yuki wants to know.
Jason Witten and Marcus Smart. Jason Witten move it surprised me a lot. Like honestly, I remember throughout free agency, I just seen the notification that we signed Jason Witten, and I was like, whoa, we already got tight ends, but he came in as a veteran leader for this team, and I believe that's the main reason why we brought him. And then Marcus Mariota, I was excited for that move because obviously I'm Samoan, and I always love when we get like some kind of Samoan or Poly on our team. And Marcus Mariota was one of my favorite quarterbacks coming into the league, and having him as a backup.
Watching Marcus Mariota at Oregon, I loved it.
Yeah, and bring him to the team, man. It just like if anything was to happen to Carr, we're okay with Marcus Mariota. Well, I'm okay with Marcus Mariota, so I was actually excited for that move. I know a lot of Raider fans are probably like, "Why did we sign him? We already have Derek Carr."
Right.
But I like the move when we got him.
Yeah. Wait. So since you're Samoan, do you watch WWE at all?
I dabble with it here and there. I'm a wrestling fan though, overall. But lately, I haven't really gotten into it. But I mean, if you watch, I know what's going on with the tribal chief Roman Reigns and Jay
Reigns
or Jimmy.
Yeah,
is it Jay or Jimmy?
Jay. That's why I was asking because I believe they're both like Samoan descent or.
Yeah. I followed that. I at least follow that rivalry there.
Okay.
It's the most entertaining thing I've seen lately.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
No, you're good.
But we were talking about general managers. Like we've been through general managers left and right, and same with head coaches. It's crazy how many head coaches we've been through. Like we've had like Eric Mangini, Mike Pettit, Rob Chudzinski. I could keep going.
Hugh Jackson.
Romeo Crennel. And then on the general manager side, we've had some guy from the Packers, Lombardi or something. I don't remember his last name. Or I don't remember his first name. Wow. We've had Holmgren. We've had Paul DePodesta. It's just crazy. But seems like this is Andrew Berry's second time with us. So I guess we fired him once before or something like that. Just the instability of this team is insane. Hopefully we found a tandem that works with Stefanski and Berry. I'm hoping.
I mean, he's off to a good start so far. So
yeah, 5-2.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be 6-2 at the end of uh at the end at 4 o'clock on Sunday.
I
You
don't know
know,
about that, but I just
yeah.
well, yeah,
You're hoping he's 5-3.
yeah.
I mean, this is the game right before our bye week, so
Oh, okay. Right on.
you know what's interesting though is the way the schedule lines up is we have the Raiders at home, then it's a bye week, and then we have both the Texans and Eagles both at home. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a 3-game homestand with the break in between. It's kind of weird to me the way they broke up the schedule. When's your bye week? Oh, you already had it, didn't you?
The week before, week 6, I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, that's why you're 3-3. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And your 3 losses have been New England,
The Bills and the Bucks.
Buffalo, and Tampa. So you lost to top teams in the AFC or
Yeah.
in the NFL, I should say.
Yeah.
So there's another similarity between our two teams. What the heck? Why are we such similar teams? Because our 2 losses have been against who? The Ravens and the
And
Steelers.
they'll give anybody a hard time. So
Yes.
those are understandable losses.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to make score predictions or if that's something you do.
I don't. I stopped doing it for a while. But I
Okay.
do it sometimes just for fun. Like I'll just say, oh, the Raiders will win 75-20 or something. Like if anybody asks me, like I'll just give some kind of
Okay.
prediction.
We don't have to do score predictions. That's fine. But one quick question, and then we'll start wrapping things up.
All right.
Do you consider yourself to be a superstitious Raiders fan at all?
Like what?
If the Raiders win one week, are you gonna wear the same outfit the next week, or do you do anything like that?
like something like bad luck or good luck, something like that.
Yeah.
Dang, I not really. Well, this season not really, but there's times before where I'll be like, oh, every time I watch it, like at somewhere else, like a Buffalo Wild Wings or something, we always win, and then when I watch it at home, we always lose or something like that. That was probably the only thing so far this season. Not really. I just watch it
What
and
about in general, though?
do what? Oh no, I don't really have anything like a lucky shirt or anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm a very superstitious Browns fan. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, that's my workout shirt. I'm not gonna look through my laundry right now.
So you have a lucky shirt then?
Yeah, I have well, it wasn't lucky when I wore it for the Steelers game. But I this hat is part of my outfit, and I bought this program on iTunes called NFL Follow Your Team, and specifically for the Browns. And I've only have bought games where the Browns have won. One of those was Week 6, 2014, at home against your Raiders. Sorry, but I watch those, during the week because I'm like, it'll send good vibes to the Browns.
Oh no, I know what you mean. I
Yeah,
I get it now. I like, what do you call it? Like if we win a game, that whole next week I'll be on Raiders stuff all the time. Like I'll watch every Raider thing or whoever's talking about the Raiders, how good they played, and then I feel like when I do that, we always lose the next game. Every time my confidence is high, like I'm like, dang, we look really good. Like the Chiefs, like we look really good. Like we could beat any team out there. And we played the Bucks and we lost. I mean, we could have won that game somehow, but still, we lost the game. And now, now it's just I'm just riding at just cruising now through the next week. And
what's interesting for me is that I tried using all my superstitions at one time for the Steelers game, and we lost. And I'm like, okay, for the Bengals game next week, I'm going completely in the other direction, and I'm not using any of my superstitions.
And you win.
and somehow we won. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so what do I do for this Raiders game? Like, I gotta find some sort of like happy medium. And by the way, when I've done these video collaborations, the
Yeah.
Browns have only lost 4 times. Two of those were in Baltimore.
Yeah.
One of those was at home against Seattle, and the other time was at Pittsburgh this season. So,
Okay. And then it's gonna be this week too, right? Or
no,
we'll see.
Loss number 5 is not coming this week.
I'll see.
No.
We'll see. I want to see that. I can't wait to see this game.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I feel like we touched on this a little bit, but just one quick thought, and I want to hear your thoughts on this before we wrap things up. I feel like, the Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Seahawks, Packers, we could keep going. Those are like the tier 1 teams. And then teams like the Browns and Raiders would be tier 2 teams.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a fair assessment?
I think so far this year, yeah. I think so far this year because like we're a good team. Like you guys are a good team too, but you don't look at them as like, oh, they're automatically in the playoffs. They're a team that's fighting for a playoff spot,
Right. Or Super Bowl contenders for that.
Yeah, like we're not like I'm not expecting the Raiders. Like, of course, as a fan, I'm expecting the Raiders to always make it to the Super Bowl. But like every year, realistically, I could tell when our team looks like a playoff team or like a team that's fighting for a playoff or a team that is not going to make the playoffs. Last season, I predicted the Raiders 7-9 before the season, and a lot of Raider fans are like, "How could you say that? We're like 11-win team." I said I don't see it yet. Even with Antonio Brown, that's before Antonio Brown even left. Like, I see us. I agree with you on that because I see us as a team that's fighting for the playoff spot, and rightfully so because we look good. You guys have looked good as well, and we've been winning games, but we're not like blowing teams out, or we're not
right.
Like this week. We're gonna win this week's game. Mostly these past 4 weeks, or
no, you're not.
These past 4 games, they haven't been teams that you look at them like, oh, the Raiders are going to win because we had the Chiefs, the Bucks, the Saints, the Bills, the Patriots, or whatnot. Those
you
games,
had the Panthers week 1.
Week 1 was probably the only week where they were like, the Raiders are favorites in that game because we didn't know what the Panthers had. But
yeah, I wrote an article about this. Like, I wonder how the Raiders prepared for that week 1 game against Carolina. Because
a lot of new people there, yeah.
Exactly. Like the Panthers brought in Matt Rule as their head coach. They brought in Joe Brady as their offensive coordinator from LSU. Teddy Bridgewater as their starting quarterback. So I'm like, what did the Raiders do to prepare for the Panthers? Did they watch some of Baylor's offense? Did they watch any of LSU's offense? Did they watch like what Teddy Bridgewater did with the Saints? Like, I would love to know that.
I honestly don't know because that is kind of tough to know what the Raiders did. I think if anything, their game plan going into that game, because obviously we knew how Teddy Bridgewater played, but obviously not under Matt Rule's system. I think was going in knowing what the Panthers had from the year before. Like Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey, so you game plan for Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, who had a solid season last year. Those are, I believe, the 2 people we really looked out for in that game or even game plan towards. But we didn't know that, like Robbie Anderson so far this season has looked like the number 1 for the Panthers. And we did the best that we could against Christian McCaffrey. It was more of just, I guess, out coaching them or like just doing what we usually do and seeing what works.
Right.
And for the most part, we did pretty good against Christian McCaffrey that game. He scored 2 touchdowns, but he didn't really break one loose against us like he usually does. He only had, I think, 1 catch in that game. And Teddy Bridgewater was hit and miss, but I think like it's like a preseason game. You don't know what's going to happen. I believe that was like a preseason game because even Teddy Bridgewater for his first game, I don't think he even knew who his number 1 receiver was going to be, even though DJ Moore was that guy. But like we didn't know because Robbie Anderson broke out for a big touchdown that game.
Yeah.
And since then, like, he's looked like the number one for the Panthers, and he's been doing pretty good. So I think just as well, just for them, like us, well, you know what? We were the same team coming in, honestly. But for us, like, I don't think it was anything else but trying to neutralize Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So, like I said, I'm going to be at this game. I kind of wish they had flexed it into Sunday Night Football. I'm actually surprised this game wasn't Sunday Night Football because I thought the NFL would think highly of both teams, but because you had Monday Night Football against the Saints, your game against the Bucks this week was supposed to be Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
I think your game week 11 against Kansas City is a Sunday night game.
Yeah. I believe we have 3 or 4 prime times. That's about it.
Obviously, like most of your primetime games are at home because you're in Vegas now.
Yeah.
I would have thought the league would be like, oh, let's make Raiders at Browns a Sunday night game and let the national audience see them. I guess not.
I don't think they were thinking too highly of us or the Raiders for the most part because they expected us to be, I think, only win 4 games this season.
Yeah, but I just would have thought they would be like, oh, John Gruden coming to Cleveland. That could. I don't know why. It just feels like there's some sort of storyline there. Maybe I'm just pulling one out of my ass.
Yeah, it would have been nice though. It would have been nice.
So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Before we go, make sure if you enjoyed this video, give that like button a punch like a UFC fighter. Don't worry, I can English. And make sure you give a punch to that subscribe button like a UFC fighter. I'm a big UFC fan. And go check out the Samoan Raider. He is a fantastic YouTuber. Lots of Raiders content. The link for his channel will be in the description of this video. I will also include it in the card, so you can just click in the right corner, and it'll take you right to his channel. As I said, the SportsRoom information will also be in the description. So, like the Facebook page, like the Instagram page, sign up for the newsletter. But until next time, I'm UngarToTheMax, signing off. See ya.